You have people who are confused. They ask, if you ask for intervention fund to be structured differently, what about the ones that were issued already and questions about payment? Are they supposed to gloss over that and then come up with this?
Which ones are those? The
intervention fund.
No. There is anybody raising questions about payment?
Isn't that why AMCON comes in and CBN says, okay, 113 companies, no more for the
No. Let me tell you, AMCON came in on the basis of 20% interest, the debts owed before. That's where AMCON came in, to buy over the debts that were owed before based on 20% interest rate. It is not the intervention fund. In fact, AMCON didn't access the intervention fund. AMCON did not go for the AMCON is not managing the intervention fund. It's not part of the management of the intervention fund. It is BOI, CBN to BOI, BOI through the banks with AFC as an advisor. AMCON has nothing to do with the intervention fund.
Should we also, if we get the next intervention fund, should we also go through that process? CBN
if CBN is instructing the banks not to give loans to airlines, the intervention fund, that's why I think it's critical. It's quite now that it's coming this time, because we go into the basket of decision when the intervention fund comes. Is either CBN issues another directive, exclude intervention fund from this directive of the banks, because the intervention fund does not belong to the banks. It does not belong to the banks. Yes, it's going to be meant for the aviation sector. Either it's inclusive in this directive, or it leaves AMCON to manage the intervention fund without any interference from the banks. And AMCON can then manage it the way it's managing the funds it has bought over by now. A new structure has to be developed, or it should kick the banks, or it should give a new directive that the banks should exclude the intervention fund if they are going to be part and parcel of it. But I don't think the banks, if you look at all their financing in the aviation sector, they've not done well. The consortium that financed MM2, led by Oceanic Bank, they are in trouble. They did not do the analysis very well. UBA that financed Virgin Nigeria, absolutely faulty, didn't do its analysis very well.
Are these issues addressed before they even talk about accessing more credit?
Before they access, well, I don't know. First and foremost thing, that's why I say the central bank did the first thing it has to do. Since this has happened, let it not happen again. It has left it now for those who should address this. And AMCON is doing it by absorbing these debts and trying to make those who will pay on a better terms. Yeah. Okay, so that is the situation. But the banks go and do an analysis of all their financing. They have not done well because they didn't understand what they were financing. And when the things were going down, they were not reading it. For example, when Virgin Nigeria under Branson started London, UK route and pulled out, said it was unprofitable. Imagine the Virgin Group that is known worldwide for excellent management of the airline. Go to London, pull out, say it's not profitable. Flew to Dubai, pulled out, it's not profitable. Emirates, Kenya Airways, Ethiopian Airlines are making a kill out of it. Pulled out. South Africa is not profitable. He pulled out. These are signs that that things are not what they should be. These are signs that you begin to now question the managers. What is the intention? What is the intention of the manager? If they did that, they would have known point blank that Virgin Nigeria was set up to run domestic and regional routes as a feeder to Virgin Atlantic. As a feeder to Virgin Atlantic, not as an international airline. That's why he pulled out from all international routes and stayed on regional.
Otherwise, we'll be competing with the
local this thing. So Virgin Atlantic was to use Virgin Nigeria as a backdoor cabotage, clean up the domestic route, funnel into Virgin Atlantic. That's why he insisted that he must operate from international airports so that there will be a seamless transfer of passengers into Virgin Atlantic and from Virgin Atlantic into Virgin Nigeria. That's why when that decision was taken that they should leave international and operate at on domestic airports, it became obvious that they couldn't continue with this policy. These are some of the things.
Well,
that
if we're not able to restructure or come up with another structure for this fund, which you talk about, what are we likely to see in this aviation sector?
you have aviation sector that will dwindle straight away. If government does not provide intervention fund, restructure intervention fund, managed better, managed maybe not by banks or by AMCON, properly managed, we will see the aviation sector going down.
Well, the question will be why? Because if where we are right now is that AMCON has bought over bad debts, and that there is also an intervention fund that is being accessed through the banks right now, giving the airlines leeway to restructure. If that's where we are right now, why should they still go down?
No, the truth of it is, I've said it over and over again, the intervention fund that you're talking about is directed at the banks. It's not at the airlines.
For the old debts that the airline owe, right?
No,
it's directed at the banks for the debts that airline owes.
Yes.
And that is aside the one that AMCON has bought over, right?
Yes.
So if that is the case, you would think that the airlines have some leeway now to restructure with what they have and get comfortable.
Yes. He's giving them that leeway. If that leeway were not there, you probably won't have an airline in this country. You probably won't have. We are thinking of what is there to know how bad it is. You probably won't have an airline in this country. That's why the banks should not be allowed to be loaning this thing. What AMCON has done, they're restructuring. That's why they're being able to pay. If that was not there, they would not have been able to pay. They would have virtually collapsed.
Would you subscribe that we get more operators in the sector? Certainly,
we need very strong and vibrant operators in the sector. Very strong and vibrant operators in the sector. I have been a subscriber to we having about at least two or three national flag carriers that we compete. What is happening in this sector is going to be terrible. There's an airline called A-Sky. Some people call it ASKI. It's out there in Togo. It's floated by Ethiopian Airlines. It's floated by Ethiopian Airlines. Yes, it's already here. So Ethiopian Airlines is doing well, has floated something near us in this sub-region. The target market is Nigerian market. There's an Indian low-free operator that is coming into Accra to set up an airline. It's put about 250 million, projected 250 million to $500 million to set up an airline. If he does that, the market is in Nigeria. It's going to clean up the Nigerian market.
Because so a lot of Nigerians go here.
Yes.
Pick their flights from there.
So the earlier we get it into our heads that if we don't do this quick, if we don't take this quick action, we will go down. The better for us. So we choose a choice for us. Do we want to keep going down, or do we want to establish ourselves strongly in the sub-region? You
heard about the one that's coming up, they say in December or so. How do you think that will be?
Coming up in Nigeria?
Yeah, that's what we hear.
The national flag carrier?
Yeah, they're all talking about it in the aviation sector.
Yes, I heard about it. I should hear. If I don't hear about it, then I'm not in that sector.
But is that what you had talked about, the same structure?
I haven't seen it. I am not privy to the documentation or how it is going on, but I know that quite some work is going on behind the scene. I think it is the one that either the Minister of Aviation is working on, and that kind of a thing. Like I say, we need flag carriers.
We need to get it right too.
Yeah, we need to get it right. I think all the things that have happened have gone into that. I subscribe, I always say it, that in spite of our risk problem and everything, we need to box them together and say, look, do it right. You have the equipment, you have the aircraft. It's put the management of that airline, put, service delivery and everything, put it right and give Nigerians what they need so you can come on strong. Another one comes in, who can come on strong. One airline, however large it is, cannot serve this country, the needs of this country. That's why I advocate up to 2 or 3 national flag carriers that can go. We have 63 buses. How many are we servicing? Apart from the African region, it's only 2, New York and London. And London, 7 out of 21 frequencies is what we are serving. New York, 3 airlines are coming from that place. We have just only 1. No, 2 airlines coming from that, and we have only 1 going there to 1 destination. So we need to get ourselves to the point where we should be able to reach all these.